Sense goes to Lansing, speaks for us, for the people of mid-Michigan. We have to have a voice for us and not special interest groups. And that's the main reason that I'm going there. I'm a strong advocate for small business. I believe that small business is the quick fix for jobs in our area. Sure, we need the General Motors and the battery plants and the things of that nature. But if we can bring small businesses, make small businesses easier to open up in this area, it's a quick fix right now. We can put people to work together immediately. I spent a little time going over, waiting for my wife to have her nails done one day, and I was going through my head figuring out the taxes, the fees, the license permits, and the things that I have to or do as an owner of a restaurant. And I have a list, I'll provide it later if anybody wants to see it. There's 45 different license, permits, fees, and expenses that I have to pay to the government or county or township before I can even open my door. We have got to eliminate the majority of those. We've got to make it easier for business to be able to prosper here in Michigan. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm going next. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Jason Liptoe and I live in Harrison, and I also want to thank everybody for having us. Appreciate it, especially in this beautiful weather. We'll all be barbecuing right now. I'll straight up and say that as far as agriculture, the only thing I know how to do is mow my lawn and maybe whip some weeds, so it's not my strong suit, but there are other areas that I feel that I am stronger in. My concerns are education. I have a certification in education in high school, actually 6 to 12 in social studies. I have taught the last 3 years at Michigan as an adjunct instructor in economics, and management theory, business communications, and computers. I started my life in Clare County back in 1976. I grew up and lived in Farwell, graduated from Farwell High, class of '86. A few years later, I moved down to Oakland County. I went to college at Downey University, worked in payroll, the area of taxes, which are very important to us today. Did a lot of worked in the bank for 8 years, learned a lot of, again, about businesses and small businesses especially. And then 2 weeks after 9/11, I lost my job as Michigan was hitting its recession, 10-year recession. So I moved back home up here, decided to become a teacher, went back to school at Saginaw Valley. I now live in Harrison. I did my student teaching there. Unable to land a job in education, unable to land a job basically in anything. And that's one of the key problems we have. We got to work on creating jobs, and it begins with, as Mark said, a small business person. We need to make it more business friendly here in the state of Michigan. We remove a lot of the regulations and fees that are making it unfriendly. We have to change the total tax structure. We can't piecemeal things back together. We got to attack this head on, and this is the time to do it. We need to make education cheaper and more affordable for everybody, so that anybody who wants to go to college can. We should become a promise scholarship township like Kalamazoo and Baldwin are. There's no reason why we cannot become that. Get our kids educated. And then the other main thing is to keep our young people here. And the only way to do that is to provide them jobs. Over 50% of the people graduating from Michigan colleges right now are leaving the state. We don't need to raise taxes. You need to keep your tax base. If you keep your tax base, you don't need to raise taxes. That should be the key thing. Thank you.
I'm Joel Johnson. I'd like to also thank everyone for coming tonight and providing us this opportunity. And to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm also running for the 97th District House seat as a Republican. And I've been married to my wife Dawn for a little over 31 years. We have 4 adult children and 4 grandchildren, which we enjoy a lot. That's very important to us. I began my role in leadership in agriculture in FFA. In high school, I was voted to be the FFA president. More recently, I've served in such roles as the Chamber of Commerce president for Clare Area Chamber of Commerce. I've been on the board for the Michigan Agribusiness Association, for the County Farm Bureau. I've been involved in the Extension Advisory Board, and in agriculture in general. I've been employed in agriculture for 32 years, since I graduated from Michigan State University. Before that, I was raised on a farm in the Merrill area, and the last 20 years I've managed the elevator here in Clare, Johnson Elevator. And I too have felt that we have just been stepped on too much. Our Constitution has been overlooked, and too many things are happening that do not fit that Constitution. We need people who will stand up for our Constitution and for what I call the silent majority. Even though a lot of people are speaking up more, I think that the majority of our people have great values. They want to do the right things, and we need someone who will speak up for them, and I want to do that. I believe that we have to work to cut our government expenditures and cut taxes. Of course, in order to cut taxes, we do have to cut government expenditures. I believe that the 2003 Bush tax cuts proved to us that cutting taxes does create jobs. In a period of time where jobs were going down, we had lost something like 300,000 jobs in a period of 6 months before those cuts were made. And in less than 2 years, we had 5 million new jobs in the country, and $274 billion more worth of tax revenue was coming in. That tells me that we can raise revenue and we can help people and create jobs by cutting taxes. That's what we need to do in Michigan. I think we've got a governor that doesn't understand that. We've got a governor who doesn't understand a lot of things. She doesn't seem to understand what agriculture does for our state. And she continues to cut agriculture. She cuts MDA and a lot of the things that agriculture does. And recently, many of you probably noticed that she made a comment about our meat. And she requested that everyone take a day off from eating meat. And as I'm telling you, I'm going to speak up for the things that are right. I did that about that. She did that on a Wednesday, or at least I found out about it on a Wednesday. And that Saturday was the day that she requested everyone to go without eating meat. And she talked about all the things that was bad about meat that it could do to you. And we had a meat lovers breakfast and a meat lovers luncheon at the Doherty Hotel and at Riverwalk in Gladwin. And I'd just like to quote from the front page of the Clare County Review. There were articles in 3 or 4 other papers that talked about this. I think it made some good publicity. But it says here, Johnson spoke at both the breakfast and luncheon, indicating his dismay that Granholm would make a resolution so negative against agriculture, Michigan's #2 industry. Johnson spoke of the superior safety of U.S. agriculture products, especially those from Michigan. The governor's resolution was a slap in the face to agricultural producers, the Michigan Department of Ag, and others in agriculture industry who worked so hard to ensure the availability of safe, nutritious food, he said. He also indicated the need for country of origin labeling so consumers can choose products from U.S. which are required to meet rigid standards. So I think this shows just an example of what I will do to stand up for agriculture and for the citizens of the 97th District and the state of Michigan. Thank you.
My name is Tom Cairns, and excuse the cane. I lifted something I shouldn't have. I have worked for the Department of Corrections for 21 years. I have also been elected as their representative in Lansing through the Michigan Corrections Organization. And I've also been a delegate to their conventions, their conferences in Lansing.